Alrighty. Hi cubies and newbies, I am Sunshine, and this is Thursday, so we're going to talk about the centers of a cube. This one I solved it yesterday, so I've got to scramble it. If I want to keep my corners and edges intact and scramble only the center, that is doable as long as I keep the corners correct to each other while I'm scrambling it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. As long as whatever I do, as long as I keep the corners correct. Do anything I want to, as long as I keep the corners correct before I change rotations. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, as long as I've kept my corners correct, then I can line them up again, and not the edges will still be correct. So this gives me the effect of having scrambled it and done the corners and then the edges, which is what how I solve the cube. I do the corners first, and then I do opposite edges, and then I displace one row at a time to work on the side edges, and then undo parities with a quarter turn if I need to, and then you have what is left here is the cage. Hello, good morning. Okay, so I have just scrambled just the centers of this 7x cube, and which gave it the effect of having solved from the outside in the corners and then the edges. So now I can work on solving the centers. A lot of people do. Okay, so the centers are not solved. I'm going to do formula A to move this, to fix the centers. Right now I have boxes, the equivalent of boxes on 4 sides instead of boxes on 6 sides. I'm going to do formula A. I'm going to apply formula A to the center, the absolute center. So I'm going to move this piece away. I'm going to move the space where it's going to be down. I'm going to move the cube into the space and move the cube in the space back up again. Now we've got boxes. Now I've moved the white down. I've got to move it back up again. So white, I'm on the red side. White is going to go where the blue is. So I'm going to look at the blue side and find the red there. So these 3 colors, top, front, and right, doing formula A will place them correctly. So you're working on the center cube. I move it away. I move the space is going to go in down. I move the pieces into it, and the space in the cube back up to the top. And my centers are now correct. So I used formula A works on bringing, I just used formula A on the centers. Formula A also works on the corners. Formulas. You look at the front of the cube as if you're looking at rows and columns on a spreadsheet, and we are only ever moving one row and either one or two columns, depending on whether you're doing Formula A or Formula B. If you look at it, every other row is the top, and if it goes left one time, it goes right the next time. So it's always going back and forth and back and forth. And then of the column movements, there's an up, first up, then there's a second up, then there's the first down, then there's a second down. B is the same formula with whatever you pick a cube to apply it to, and whatever cube you're applying it to determines which columns you're going to use. For example, if you use the two outer columns, the effect is going to move these three corners around. If you're working on a inner column, an edge piece, say for instance this piece right here, this will be the piece where the first column is where you want it to land, and the second column is where it's beginning. So if you want to move this piece this way, this is the first column, and this is the second column. If you want the piece to go this way, this is the first column, and this is the second column. And either way, for the edges, the first move is to move it away from where it wants to be. So, demonstrating that real quickly before you get working on the centers. If I want this piece to move over here, I will move it away from where the action is. Then I move the first up, back, second up, away, down, back, second down. Okay? But if I wanted the cube to move to the right instead, I start by moving it away, then where it's going to land is the first column, back, where it began is the first column, and then you reverse and reverse. Set the cube. So, to move this one over here, I move it away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. So if you if looking at the front, you're working with the two outside columns and the top, it's going to work on corners. If you use an outside and an inside column, it's going to work on edges. And if you use two inside columns, it's moving the centers around. So slide up, move it to a different column, second up, reverse down, back down, and this piece moved here, this piece moved here, and this piece moved here. So these are the three pieces that Formula B is going to change. Up, up, down, down. And now, now I'm just going to work on edges, centers, unless you guys have some questions, because feel free to ask me questions and chat with me. Again, hi cubies and newbies, I am Sunshine, and this is the ABCube method for solving the cube. Working on the centers, I like to work from the outside in because it helps me keep track of what I'm doing. And just like I did the corners and then the edges, I start with the diagonal centers. So I pick a cubie that's wrong. This green is wrong because it's on the red side. It's green, and I want my Formula B is going to move it to the top, so I need to hold the cube so that green is on top. So this cube is going to move to the top, and when it does, it's going to land in this spot. So my choices of which color to bring down to the red side are yellow or white or red. red is most beneficial for bringing down. So I've lined it up, and that is my first blue arrow, is to line it up, so that is to move the top so that it's lined. It's represented by just one turn, but we're moving it up so that this cube, I move it up to the top. I move it into a different column. Now if I do this way, it's still the same column, so that's not going to work for me. I have to move this into a different column, so I turn it this way. Now that it's in a different column, that signifies what my second column is, where it's going to end up. So second column up. I then reverse to line up my edges, and a down, reverse, down, and then set the top and continue. Here is a yellow in my corner. So I hold it on the front face. I move the cube so that yellow face is on top, because I'm going to move this to the top. It will land in this spot right here. So my choices are bringing down a blue, or a yellow, or a blue, or an orange. Okay, I don't want to bring down the orange because that's an opposite of the red. So I'm going to bring down a blue. So it's lined up. I go up. I move it to a second column, which this way is the same column, so it has to go this direction. So this then is my second column up. I reverse, and this is because I've done the edges first. The edges line up to help me keep track of which column I'm working on, which isn't a problem on a 3x3 or even a 4x4, but the more columns you start working with, the more you have to keep track of what you're doing. So here is a blue. It's on the front face. I move the cube so that blue is on top. And again, formula B. This blue is going to go on top, which will land in this spot. Well, that blue is already blue. That's going to be a null action. So my other choices are orange, or yellow, or white. So for the red, I don't want the orange. The yellow or white will be fine. If I do yellow, then I'm going to be able to, well, let's see. All right, I'm going to do either yellow or white, doesn't matter. So I've lined up to go into this incorrect piece will go into a spot with another incorrect piece. And those are the only two I care about. The third one will work itself out. So I go up, move it to a different column, second up. Okay, reverse, down, reverse, down, set the top again, and that is correctly placed. Now I have a white piece that I can work on. So I hold it so the white is on top. This piece will land here. So my choices are white, green, red, or green. Red's on the color that is most beneficial, since I'm working on the red side. So I'm going to move it so that the red lines up with where my piece is going to land. And then my piece goes up, moves into a different column, goes up again, which puts it to the back. Then I reverse, down, reverse, down. Set the top again, and I keep going. Okay, these corners are all done. So let's look at this one. Here's a green that I can place. So green from the front is going to go to the green on top. It's going to land in this spot. So my choices are green, or yellow, or white. And white is my front color, so that's the most beneficial. So that was my first blue arrow, was setting it to lining it up, setting it up. So my first red arrow is the first arrow. There's my first up. Move it to a second column. that column becomes my second up. Then I reverse, first down, reverse, first down. So it's up, up, down, down, and then set the top. Here's another green. Hold it till the greens are on top. This cube is going to land right here. So my choices are three of the greens are already there. Yellow is the only one that can come down now. Since I don't want to move the yellow down into the white, I'm going to choose a different corner. I'll come back to that later. So I'm going to work with this yellow instead. And so it's on front, yellow's on top. It's going to land in this spot where the blue is. So my choices are blue, orange, yellow, or yellow. So I don't really want to bring the blue down, so I'll bring the orange down instead. So I've lined it up. That's my first move. Second move, this is my first up. Move it to a different column. So this row, this is then my second column, second up. And then reverse what I just did, and you can do it your edges to keep you honest. Make sure you're on the same column. Down and down, and then set the top and keep going. So here is an orange. Bring my orange to the top. It will land here. So my choices are blue or white or orange, orange. So I don't want to move the blue, I'll bring the white down. So I've lined it up. That's my first move. Then I'm first up, move it to a different column, second up, reverse, down, reverse, down, set the top, and keep going. So now I have a white I can work with. Move the white to the top. Here's my cubie. It's going to land in this position. So my choices are white, 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 or green. I'll bring the green down. So I go up, move it to a different column, second up, reverse down, reverse down. So again, I don't decide which columns to use. The cube that I'm trying to place tells me which, the cube itself dictates which columns to use. So another piece that's wrong, here's a blue. Okay, it's blue, blue's on top. Again, it's going to land here, so my choices are yellow or orange. So I line up the yellow. Up, slide, second up, reverse, down, reverse, down, and set the top again. Working from the outside, here's another one. Okay, orange is on top. 3 of my oranges are correct. There's only one left to place, so it's blue. Lined it up. I have 3 blues here, so I can actually make this treat these as one piece. Then they're going to land where these 2 pieces are. I could actually treat it like a 3-piece, so that'll get this green off of my blue cube as well. So I'm just going to treat these 3 as one piece. So I go up, slide, second up, reverse, down, slide, down, set the top, and keep going. Excuse me 1 second. Hello? Yes? Okay. Okay. Can I call you back in about half an hour? I'm doing something right now. Okay, I'll call you back. Okay, bye.
1981. It's an episode of the TV show Taxi, starring Tony Danza, Andy Kaufman, but also Christopher Lloyd.
Sorry about that, guys. Okay, hello. All right, so I work from the outside in because it's easier to keep track of that way. And it looks like all of, those outer corners are done. So let's go to continue moving in. Here's some oranges. Orange on top. So these two are going to land where these two are. So my choices are white and yellow, yellow and green, red or red, or yellow and red. So I want to move the reds down because they're going to have to be moved twice anyway. So this is the next piece I'm going to work with, and the first blue arrow there on the B was to line it up to something advantageous. So then I got my first up, move it into a second column, which can go either direction. So there's my second up, reverse down, reverse down. And again, here's why I did the edges before I do the centers, is because it helps me keep on track of which columns I'm working on. So here's a white. So I move the white to the top. This piece will land right here. So my choices are bringing a green down, or an orange, or a white, or a blue. Since I'm working on the blue side, I'm going to do that. So this piece lands here. It's advantageous to use both of those. So that is going to move a green up. That's not really entirely helpful, but it also moves two whites up. So I can move two blues down and two whites up. So the green is not helpful, but the rest of it is. So overall, it's helpful to treat these three as one piece. So up, slide, second up, reverse down, back, down, set the top, and continue. And this is just lather, rinse, repeat. Keep going. And again, I work outside in, so that I can keep track of where the pieces are. Because the bigger the cube gets, the more harder it is to line everything up. Or I can just move all of the whites up and all of the blues down. But I'm just to demonstrate, I'm just gonna work one piece at a time. Okay, orange. I'm working with an orange, so I bring orange to the top. This is going to land in this spot. So here, these three are advantageous to all move down, and these three are advantageous to all move up. So I'm working with this piece. This piece is one. So I move up, slide it to a different column, second up, reverse down, back, down, set the top, and select another cutie. This is more of the same, so you feel free to interrupt me with chatting if you'd like, and we can talk about whatever questions you have. Again, just because Thursday I work on the centers today, tomorrow I'm going to be doing the 3x3x9 because that's fun for me. Okay, so I've got an orange piece. I've got orange on top. this piece will line up to this spot. So my choices are yellow, or yellow, or yellow, or orange. So either way, it's going to be yellow. I'm going to bring it down. So I go up, move it to a different column. Again, because it's on diagonal, if I turn it, no, actually I can turn it either way. So, second up, down, second down. Reset the top. Pick another cube that's incorrect. And just throw it in the direction it wants to be. So these two, if I treat these as one, they're going to land right here with the green and white, or with the white and yellow, or with the white and red, or with the two oranges. The two oranges need to be moved down, so that's the most advantageous. So these two will replace these two. So I move the piece up, put it into a different column, second up, reverse, down, reverse, down, set the top, and find another piece that's wrong. Okay, here's another red. It's going to land in these two spots if I treat them as one. So there's an orange and yellow, there's a red and white, there's a green and red. This one is the only one that has two not reds. So I'm going to treat it, so that's my lining up. That's my first blue arrow. And then I move it up, move it into a different column, second up, reverse, down, reverse, down. Set the top as needed and pick another piece. So here we've got an orange. These two. So I've got they can change it with an orange and green, or a blue and orange, or a yellow and orange, or a yellow, orange and white. So we're not going to treat it as two because it's not helpful. We're just going to treat it as one. And we're going to swap it with this blue. So, up, slide to a different column, second up, reverse, down, reverse, down. So, top, up, top, up, top, down, top, down. Alrighty, here's some yellows. We're going to land here on this white and blue. Those are both advantageous. So we'll do that. Up, slide, second up, reverse, down, reverse, down. Set the top again. And keep going. Here's an orange. My thumbtack is losing its stickiness. Here's an orange. It's going to land into this spot right here, so that's not helpful. So my choices are bringing the white down or the green down. I don't want to bring the green down, so I'll bring the white down. Since the whites are together, I'm going to treat it as two. This two piece as one, so I can keep the whites together. So up, slide to a different column, up, reverse, down, reverse, down. Set the top. And since I kept these two whites together, I'm going to see if I can keep them together still. I don't want to bring the green down, so I won't treat it together as one. But that's okay. So I'm going to bring the yellow down instead. So I go up, slide it, second up, reverse, down, set the top. And again, I'm working from the outside. So here's a green. It will land in this green spot, or this yellow spot, or this blue spot. So we'll bring the blue down. So wait, that was me making, oh no, I'm not making a mistake. Okay, so, all right, up, hello kitty, up, down, down, and we must pet the kitty. Hi, sweetie. Hi, sweetie. What you doing? What you doing? Okay, run away. All right. Here's a red. Here's a white. Put the white on top. Okay. This white is landing in this spot. So we've got a white, a green, or an orange. Orange is the most favorable. So we go up, slide to a different column, second up, reverse, down, reverse, down, set the top again, and we keep going. Here's an orange. Orange goes to the top. It lines up to this spot right here, which only gives me one option to move down is the yellow. So I go up, slide, up, reverse, down, reverse, down. How are you guys all doing today? What do you have planned for today? What fun things are you going to be doing? Okay, here's another orange. So my choices are this yellow or this yellow, so since it doesn't matter, so up, up, down, down, set the top, pick another piece, just pick a piece that's wrong and toss it in the direction it wants to go. I don't want to bring this green down. I can bring this white down or the other white down. They're both white. So up, slide, second up, reverse, down, reverse, down. Set the top. There's another yellow. I could bring a green down or a white down, so we'll do the white. Up, up, down, down, da 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 da. Okay, since I've got yellow in front of me, I'll keep doing the yellows. Okay, so we've got a red or blue. Blue's good. Up, up, down, down, set the top. Here's another yellow. Work on that one. It lines up with this blue, so that's ideal. So we go up, up, down, down. Okay. Let's all right. Here's a white. I can bring the green down, or the white, or the green, or the yellow. So the yellow is most advantageous because blues and greens are opposites. So up, slide, second up, reverse, down, slide, down, set the top, and pick another piece. Da, 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 da. Okay, here's another white. My choices are bringing down this green or this green, and so I'm not going to use the white. I'm going to use the greens here, and I'm going to put this green either into this blue or the orange or the red or the blue. So we'll do either blue. Blue's good. I'm going to treat this as a two-piece because so the white can come down as well. So up, slide, up, reverse, down, reverse, down. Set the top as needed. Pick another piece. Here's a green. I can bring yellow or red So we'll do red, up, slide, up, reverse, down, reverse, down. Here's another green. The choices are red or orange or blue, so we'll do the blue. Up, up, down, down. Set the top. Kitty, stop, please. Stop, please, Kitty. Stop, please. There you go. Play with your fluffer. Play with your feather. There you go. There you go. Poof. Okay, here's another green. Here's another green. Okay. All right. I can bring down a red or a yellow or blue. I don't want the yellows, so I'm just going to work on the red here. So up, slide up, reverse down, reverse down. Here's another green. Choices are yellow or blue or red, so let's do the blue. Up, up, down, down. Okay. Here's a red. Okay, so this red lines up with a white. That's helpful. We'll just do that one. Up, up, down, down, and lather, rinse, repeat. Okay, here's another red. Line it up with the white. Up, up, down, down. Okay, there's a blue. My choices are yellow or white. Let's bring the green down as well. So up, up, down, down. There's another blue. Choices are orange, or blue, or blue, or blue. So orange. Up, slide up, reverse down, reverse down. Commenting again, the diagonal centers can only be turned one way, but everything else, what I call floater centers, what you guys call oblique centers, can be turned whichever way is easier for you. So this one, I don't want to bring the yellow down, so I'm going to work with the yellow instead and throw it to its side with, I guess my choices are green or nothing else. I don't want to bring the green down, so let's go work with that green. And let's put it with, okay, my choices are orange or red. So let's do these two. Up, up, down, down. And yes, sometimes I just have to work with a color that is not helpful. But I save those to the end and see whether or not something helpful shows up first. So here's a green. Match up with the yellow. Up, up, down, down. Okay, here's another piece. Green lines up with the yellow. But if it lines up with this yellow, I can get rid of this blue and bring this blue down as well. So we'll treat this as a twofer. Up, up, down, down. It's at the top. All right. Now here's a red. that I bring a green. Green is the only thing I can bring down here. And so we'll do that. Up, slide up, reverse down, slide down, and this white will bring it, this red will bring a white down, so let's work with the white instead and bring the blue down. Up, up, down, down. Work with the blue. And up, up, down, down. Okay. More of the same. Here's a yellow. We're bringing down the red. Up, up, down, down. At the top. Green lines up with red. Up. Second up. Down. Down. Of course, you don't have to work from the outside in. Once you get to the centers, you can do all of them as you want, or as many of them as you want. When I'm timing myself, I will look at two sides, and I will bring up that color. So, for instance, if I'm working with from red to white, I'll bring up all of my whites and all of my oranges, and bring down any reds or yellows. So before I turn and look at a different color. So this one will only bring an orange. I don't want to bring the orange down, so I will work on the orange instead. But that one wants to bring the yellow down. I don't want to do that either. So all right, at this point in time, I'm just going to have to. So up, up, down. Sometimes placing something is going to put an opposite, place an opposite where you don't want it, and that's okay. Sometimes you just got to do it. But save them to the end, so you have to do it less frequently than you might think. So up, up, down, down. There's an orange. The green, up, up, down, down. Here's a red. Find anything that I can. Okay, here's an orange to bring down. Up, up, down, down. Okay, let's work with that red, bring the white down, up, up, down, down. All right, working outward. Now I'm back to a diagonal center. Here's a yellow. My choices are the blue or the green. I don't. I'll do either one is fine. So up, up, down, down. Here's a blue. I'll do line up the blue and the white with the two oranges. The oranges is one. Up, up, down, down. this blue will bring down a red, which I don't want, so I'll work with the red instead and bring down a white. Up, up, down, down. There's another red. Get rid of the orange from there. Up, up, down, down. Set the top. Here's a white. Bring the blue down. Up, up, down, down. There's an orange. Bring the blue down, up, up, down, down, set the top. Here's a green. Choices are red, orange, and yellow, so we'll bring the orange down, up, up, down, down. Here's a yellow. Line up the green, up, up, down, down, set the top. There's a red. Line up with the only other corner left. One, up, up, down, down. Here's a white. Line it up. Treat the greens as one. So up, up, down, down. Okay, all of the diagonal corners are done, and now here is a yellow. I can bring down a red or a blue. I'll bring down the blue. Up, up, down, down. Here's a blue. You can bring down a white or a green, so I'll bring down a white. Up, up, down, down. Set the top. There's a white. Bring down the orange. Line up with the orange. Up, up, down, down. Here's a red. Bring down the white. Up, up, down, down. Here's a green. Bring down the blue or the red. So let's bring down the red. Up, up, down, down. Okay. Let's work with that red. Nope. If I work with the red, I bring down a yellow. So let's work with the yellow and bring down the red instead. So up, up, down, down. There's another yellow. Up, up, down, down. There's a blue. I can bring down the green or the white, so let's bring down the green. Up, up, down, down. Here's a green. We'll bring down the blue. Up, up, down, down. Set the top. Here's a blue. Line up the white. Up, up, down, down. Set the top. White to red. Up, up, down, down. Set the top. And boom. Okay, so that is how I would teach the newbies, to just one at a time, not get distracted. Now again, as I showed at the beginning, some of you weren't here for, if I want to practice just on the centers and not focus on the corners or the edges at this time, if you scramble it, keeping your corners correct to each other, the corners and edges do not scramble, only the center scramble. So to demonstrate, 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep the corners correct. Or as long as I keep the corners correct, whatever I do to the centers keep the corners correct, scramble the centers as much as I can. Alright, that's alright. Then, because I kept the corners correct, I can just line up the edges in all three directions, and the edges are still done. If you keep the corners correct, the edges don't get messed up. Okay, so that's a good way of scrambling just the centers. Now, going back to Formula A, works on the corner, brings the corners color to the top, and works on the absolute center. But as a shortcut, you can work with Formula A on one side only, because Formula A changes all of the 6 sides, which you want for the absolute center, but you don't want for the other ones. So I'll do Formula A, but I'll only do it for one side, and I'll take a shortcut. So I will bring down, I make sure that the column doesn't have any whites on front, and then I will bring down a column. And then, because there's 4 sides to a cube, but there's 4 choices of what cube can be there. So if I make it a 3-turn, 1, 2, and I capture the whites as they're there if they come up, because there's 3. Okay, I don't want to keep the yellows because there's an opposite. So I brought as many whites to the front as I can with this turn. So I put that back up again. Move my whites aside, come down to the second column, and rotate everything that's not a white. Capture the whites that show up. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3. Okay, and then get rid of the yellow. So I've done as much as I can with this column. I put that column back up, and I bring this column down. 1, 2, 3. Okay, bring that back to the top. Move my whites aside and work with the next column. 1. Okay, I'm going to capture those 2. That's 2, 3, 2, 3. Okay, so I've got whites there. Move my whites aside and do this again. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Then I will now obviously I kept my corners correct, so I did not mess up any of my edges when I did that. So I can continue with Formula A. Bring this to the top. I move it away. I bring it down. I move it into the space and move it back up again. I line up the top. I move this piece away. I bring the space it wants to be in down. I move the piece in and the space back up again. Set the top. Here's another white. Line it up. Move it away. Bring the space down. Move it into the space and back up. Here's another white. Line it up. Bring it away, down, in, up. Set the top again. Here's my white. Away, down, in, up. And I'm going to do that gave me boxes on 4 sides. So I'm going to, because I didn't pay attention to which direction I was going. So here's a white that wants to go to the top. The color that's there is red, so I'm going to line up my white and my red and my green, top, front, and right. And now if I do it once or twice, Formula A applied to the middle will give me my centers correctly. So Formula A, as a shortcut, works on only the first side of centers. You can't do it with the second side because it'll mess up the white. Well, white, because white's what I did. Let me close a window that popped up. No, thank you. I'm not looking at window. Thank you. I'm not looking at windows right now. Okay. So, at this point in time, then if I was going for speed, I would move up. I would pick, I start with green because the green's my second favorite after yellow. So, at this, I'll look at my green and my orange. I'll move up every green, and then move up every red, and move down every blue and down every orange before I move to another set. So here's 4 greens, so up, down, and down, and work with pieces that are as large as I can. Because, well, I'm only paying attention to 2 colors. The third one might automatically set. So here's some reds. I want them off. So I line up. These 2 can come down. So up, down, down. Okay, here's some more greens and reds. So I'm going to, all right, I'm going to move these 3 greens up. It's most advantageous is moving the right piece in. Second priority is moving the opposite sides out. So here, up, down, down. Okay. So these greens cannot advantageously move up right now. So then I will go and work with my oranges and blues. And I'm going to, I don't want to move the reds up, but I can move this orange up. I can move, let's see, these 2 pieces up. Okay. I can move these 2 oranges up into those 2 blues. Okay. This orange can go up. This orange does not advantageously go up at the moment. And these blues don't advantageously come out. This one can. This green and blue can be changed. So I'm not worried about setting everything. I'm just worried about what's most advantageous right now. These 3 reds, for example, can swap with these right here. Okay. These 3 reds can swap with these 3. It brought a green up, but that's okay. That green, okay. Okay. This blue can go up. Okay. This red and blue. And this red and blue. This red and blue. This red and blue. Look for something else. Okay, here's some red and greens can go. Okay, this red. This red. That green doesn't come down. Okay, now let's look for, okay. All right. Okay. This red and orange swap. This green can swap. This red, no, yeah, red can swap. This yellow. Nothing else intuitive, so I go this way. Okay, here's a blue. Let's get rid, swap with the orange. Hello, hi. Hi. Hello, sweetie. Hello, sweetie. What do you want to play with? What you doing? Sit down. Sit. Sit. Good kitty. Good kitty. You just stay right here. Or go. I don't care. That's fine too. Come on, kitty. Go. Shoo. Shoo, shoo, shoo. Okay. If nothing looks intuitive, okay, so here's, all right, here's a green that can come down. Okay, these red and oranges can swap. Okay, this orange can come down. This green and orange can swap. Okay, this yellow orange can go up. Swap with the yellow. All right, and now let's go over here. Okay, here's, all right, these blues. Blue and green can swap. And it's just clean up at this point. Alright, here's orange. Blue goes with yellow. Alright, red and and swap. Okay, this red has to go there, so we'll work with the blue that it puts into the green. And then by placing the green there. And line up the blue and the orange. And again, doing the corners first and then the edges keeps me, the edges are there as a reminder to keep me track of what color I'm working on, which rows I'm working on. That is the centers if you've done the cage method first. If you have done the centers first, the corners and edges are still solved with formula A and B without displacing the centers. The only exception being if you've introduced a parity into the equation. Parities are solved by 1/4 turn on the layer that has the parity. And if you've done the centers first, that involves resetting your centers because the centers were done incorrectly. So, all right. Anybody want to tell me what fun things they have planned for the day, or what your favorite cube is, or what your favorite scramble is, or do you have any questions for me before I sign off? Okay. All right. I will be back here tomorrow to work on my Whittington 3x9. I'm going to scramble this before we go. The thing about this, the Whittington 3x9, is it takes some work to scramble it, because if all I do is twist the sides and then scramble it scramble it, then when I solve the white and yellow cubes, the rows are already solved for me and all I have to do is undo them. So in order to scramble the Whittington 3x9, I have to scramble it as best as I can on its own, and then I have to solve it by shape, not color, so that it's solved incorrectly, and then I can twist the columns. So my with the yellow and white up and down, I have to make sure that the center is horizontal, so that the center will turn when I want it to. Okay, so I have to line that up first, and then once that's done, all I have to do is solve by shape. So those corners are done. Oh, the corners. Corners are solved by formula A, brings your chosen colors to the top. In this case, chosen shape, which is flat. Slide it to a side to protect it, keep going. And because it will be a multiple of 6 when you do the top, the bottom does not scramble. So the corners are done, and now I have to do the opposite edges, which is done with formula B. Formula B with yellow and white left and right. I find a piece in the middle that wants to be on this outside. I find where it's going to be. And again, I want to solve it incorrectly at this point in time. So this is going to go here. Formula B moves it away. First up, back, second up, away, down, back, second down. Okay, now it's solved by shape, which means I can twist these center columns, the 9 by part of the 3x9, and get it to scramble in such a way that now I can scramble it, and when I solve the whites and yellows, they will not be just a step away from being solved. I have to actually work to solve the corners and the edges now. So that's scrambled, ready for tomorrow morning when I will be back here. So thank you for joining me this morning. Thank you for giving me your time, and I will be back here tomorrow morning. Hope you guys all have a wonderful day. And stream.